This is a soursop tree, one of our early plantings on trellis, and we had issues with the central leader horizontal branch system becoming, the branches were dying back and the trees weren't happy in that way. So we cut the main center leader out and we trained it to a branchless, multi-leader branchless system. You can see the fruit setting. It's not long ago we changed it. There's fruit of different ages and a massive crop in a small area. If this was extrapolated to mangoes, soursop bear inside the canopy a bit, but you do have quite a few outgoing tips on the ends, which would be mango flowers, like a bottle brush right up. So you get a very big fruiting area. The tree's easy to manage, and you're dividing the upright, the apical vigor, between 2 or 4. We've done quite a few 4, rather than just one central leader. What we've done, because we've got more space, we've planted a small tree in the middle, and we've started training it up to 2 leaders again. We find it easier to do 2 than 4. So that's how we do it. We use string to follow them up, clips and tapes, and it's a pretty easy process. Again, the energy coming up from the one trunk is divided 2 ways, so the apical vigor is not the same. And then you get to this again, it's like a bottle brush effect. And if these fruiting units, as they're called, get too big on the side rather than branches, we cut them out. Like that one's nearly getting too big. It can be cut out and you allow a smaller one to come away and take over as a fruiting unit. So again, these were mangoes. These would all be potential fruiting tips. So you've got a lot of potential fruit in a small area, easily managed. Thank you. So again, this is a soursop tree with a multi-leader branchless training system. You can see where we've cut off the original trunk there and revamped it, repurposed it. It's a really good fruit set, easily accessible on the initial one. And then the second batch of branches, look at the fruit hanging here. So the best way to reduce the tree's vigor is by putting a fruit load on it, and that's probably nearly as much as this can handle. One of the things to watch out with in this system is if you do 4 upright leaders, the inside one gets more tucker than the outside one always. So you need to sometimes prune a little bit harder on the one closest to the root system and allow the outside one to get enough nutrient to grow. But with this species, it's really working well. It doesn't seem to be too worried that it's a bit smaller. And there's fruit right up this one, and we'll probably prune it a little bit harder. As on this side, again, this is a little bit bigger, but not too much bigger than this outside one. And this outside one's got a fruit load already. A new little fruit coming as well. So this system is easier probably to train than the central leader horizontal branch, and you don't have the same issues where you're getting low branches shaded out because everything's going up in 2 or 4 ways. So we're tending to go this way with more and more crops, and I think with mangoes, little baby one set there too, with mangoes these would all fruit, and avocados the same. Mangoes and avocados, I believe, would be best suited to this, not meaning the other way wouldn't work, but this way is latest training ideas, and it's been proven to us to go pretty well. Beautiful.
It's a bit wobbly because the tree's so.
These are our abiyus on open datura. Allows for a high density planting, and we can harvest at the right maturity when fruit are just ready. That's not quite ready yet, a few days. And it's multi-leader branchless, and we basically net at this time of year, not only keep pests out but to reduce sunburn. So you can see the different maturity of fruit of different stages. Easy access to the fruit is key. This is one crop that trellises really well. It's Thai white guavas. Massive crop. They're loaded. We actually brought the height of the canopy down. We got rid of the top wire because everyone wanted me to pick the high stuff, the higher stuff. So we brought it down 1 wire, and there's still heaps and heaps of fruit. We've got it fruit fly netted totally, which works 100%. No fruit flies. Big fruit, big crop, but in the next couple of weeks we're going to cut all these out because we can't beat the spotting on them. We've tried everything and we just can't beat the spotting, so this is a crop that just doesn't work for us. And what we'll do when we do cut them out is replant the same trellis with what's just the other side of the net with another row of sapodillas. Because sapodillas are a great market, they're less problem. We know they don't get brown spots on them because they are brown. Great fruit, and yeah, little one setting. It's a winter crop as well, so that's our plan, is to knock the guavas out, one cut prune, and put sapodillas in this place, and we'll net both rows at once then. We also do jackfruit. We don't only do open datura trellis, we do T-trellis as well, which allows us to train the tree flat, supports the canopy in a low plane, gives us easy access to the fruit so we can harvest at the right maturity, and a lot of pluses. You can see these champerdacs. This is a crazy good crop of champerdac. Just starting to ripen. It's a jackfruit relative. Easy access so we can harvest the fruit at perfect maturity. So we do T trellis and mini T. And I can smell this fruit. This one is just softening and just ripening now. These are one of my favourites. This is toffee champerdac. Beautiful fruit. You can see the wires there. This row of star apple, or Kamito as it's correctly called, is flowering at the moment. We've had our first harvest off them. As with most of our stuff, it's continuous row, and we've got a 7.5mm cable about 2 metres off the ground, which the trees are trained along, and then we've got one above it on the same pole to support the net. We do have issues, however, with branches like this, which are too low to the ground. We've got no way to really support it. So what we probably will do is put a crossbar in and put a cross wire to keep the nets off the tree, and also be able to tie these branches up rather than prune them off, because they do have quite a weeping habit. And again, we need that support for the canopy. This block's an amazing transformation from an old cane paddock probably only 12 months ago to this state-of-the-art trellising done by young Marco Kane. He's an engineer, and you can see that the perfection he's got in this. He's got covers over durian. He really likes durian because he worked in Thailand and got a taste for it. So in our area, this is really state-of-the-art as far as concrete poles, long life rust-proofed crossbars in galvanised iron. He's just planted these just a few days ago, grafted durians. He's got old concrete sleepers as a garden bed, which he's going to mow up to. He's mounted the soil, it's well drained. The shade will be there for the first year or so, then they'll be to the top wires and the shades will come off to nurture these young trees. And sandy loam soil, virtually nothing in it from having cane on it for 70 years, and not really good to start with, but this is a really exciting project, and it's good to see people stepping right outside the square and trying stuff. Totally cyclone proof, good control of the crop, and yeah, it's great to see, right next to his house.
All right, I think that was the last one. So Peter, I'm going to turn it over to you now to pretty much just answer whatever questions are left. I think they're mostly in the Q&A, but I see a couple in the chat as well.
No worries.
Did we lose you?
Yeah, sorry?
Oh, okay, I can hear you. Yeah, so I was just going to turn the floor over to you, and you can kind of take over and answer whatever questions are left or add anything else you might want to.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, Jamie. I did miss one clip that I actually took on our breadfruit block. and it's not trellis, but there's been a fair few questions from over there about trellising breadfruit, and I think it's highly feasible and probably would work well because we rely very heavily on our 6.4 metre platform height cherry picker to pick it, and if it breaks down, we can't harvest basically a lot of the fruit. That's just a bit of an aside, but anything, fire away.
You still there, Peter?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, you can, if you have anything else you want to add, or if anyone else has some questions, I think I see a couple more in the Q&A. Do you want to go ahead and answer those?
Yeah, I see one from Amy there that was that paint on the durian bark. Yeah, we've had times where we've possibly over-pruned the trees, and on the western side, we've just painted normal white plastic house paint to stop the trunk burning. So if you do have any sunburn issues where you've pruned, that's the go. Just white house paint, plastic paint. And there was a row orientation question there too. We do normally plant north-south, but I think I would suggest people go with what their terrain allows them to do or the shape of their block. If it's not easy, if you're below the Tropic of Capricorn in our case, it's different because the sun doesn't go over you twice. But in the tropics like Hawaii and where we are, we're 18 degrees, I think you're 19. It doesn't matter that much. You'll still get enough sunlight exposure. So orientation of your rows should depend on the practicalities of it, really. Air-layered cuttings certainly do work. We do that on quite a few species. Does work on rambutan, durian. It does work, but it's a bit difficult. And I suppose that's another thing with trellising. You really don't have to worry about the strength or the vigor of your rootstock because the frame and the structure holds your tree up and supports it. So when people put 3 root systems on a durian tree, you certainly don't need that on trellising because you're helping it along. You just need the root system to feed the tree. In grafting, what is the ideal height? In trellising case, as long as you're below the bottom wire, and we currently put our bottom wire about 700 mils off the ground, that's okay.